Hello everyone, Gallifrey497 here. I'm joined by Adam Mills-Mahuvium.
Hello!
Thomas Podcast. Anyway, so we've just watched The Power of the Doctor. I don't want to sell it today, I'm speechless. I think...
We were briefed to give a non-spoiler review.
Oh yeah,
my
sorry,
non-spoiler review would be just to go watch it if you haven't already. Because I don't think I can really give you a non-spoiler review apart from the fact that, there's a lot. There's a lot to process. It uses the runtime well. And I think there's a bit of everything for everyone. But I think that's all I can really say.
Without spoilers.
Without spoiling anything.
And I would say, I think this episode sort of set out on two missions. Obviously, one to send off Jodie Whittaker's Doctor and, of course, the companions as well. But also celebrate Doctor Who's history with it being a Centenary Special. I think it does both very well. It dovetails them in quite nicely. And I think gives payoff to the characters we've known on this journey throughout the 13th Doctor era, but also other eras as well.
My initial thought is that my ribcage really hurts, all the screaming and crying and laughing. Yeah. Honestly, it was just, like you said, it was very ambitious. I think Chibnall did very well. Not even the fans of it, I think it was just really well balanced.
Can I just say, I'm really happy he got 90 minutes for that.
I think that's why.
I'm really happy he got 90 minutes for that.
And I think that's why it worked. But no, like Alex said, we can't really talk about us going... Yeah. But like I said, I think overall it was a very good special. Celebration of the BBC, Jodie's era, very nice send-off, and also the Great Wild Doctor 2. So what spoilers do you want to discuss? Because, hang on, right, 3 to 1 spoilers.
Right, click off.
Beep, 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 beep.
If you've not seen The Power of the Doctor, you've been warned.
Get out. Just spoilers, anybody.
What?
What? I think
when?
everybody can.
Oh. I can't swear. It's the government rights every channel. Everything. Obviously, I think it's safe to say. I mean, obviously, I know Reese is a big fan and all that, but I think I'm a big fan of the era. I've always said that from the off. And for me, it did everything I wanted it to, for the character of the Doctor, and especially for Yaz. One thing I will say, it's not a complaint on the episodes. I don't think it's that big of an issue. I think it shortchanges Dan quite heavily. They clearly, I don't know whether Chibnall had a plan before John Bishop came on board, but it's very clear that Dan just gets sidelined and forgotten about.
I don't know if maybe it was a commitment to his tour dates. I don't know, but it did feel a bit like it would have been nice to have had, because he bookended the beginning and the end of the story. Yeah. But obviously, wasn't it? It would have been nice to have had him, because he's obviously quite a big player in this whole, flux and the specials. But again, there was a lot going on.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. One thing I will say is I'm really sad we didn't get that ending with Diane or some kind of confirmation there.
Well, I think a lot, like I said, the confirmation with Di, obviously, I think that was cleverly done in the last special, physically seeing that conversation, and that was like, oh yeah, now we can actually, even though they say it's off screen, we can now say that's kind of happening.
Big kudos to Jane Macclestone, who directed an absolute blockbuster.
This is stupendous. I mean, look, we talked about the one thing of the Chibnall era being the consistent good look of the show. This does not disappoint.
This is the best it's looked.
We were obviously told this was very CGI heavy. There are points where you can tell. I think genuinely the worst it looked was the train sequence on top of the train when they're going down the bridge. Apart from that, I thought it looked stupendous. But for me, genuinely, I don't really have any complaints on this on first watch. Do I think it's the best written episode of Doctor Who? No. But in terms of regeneration episode, which are quite difficult and notoriously not the best stories. I mean, if you go to the last 3, End of Time, it's a Marmite one. Time of the Doctor, I love for personal reasons. And Twice Upon a Time, again, a Marmite one. I think this one may have done in that parting of the ways kind of camp of things when more people might get more out of this than disliked. Initial reaction, I can see people liking this one more.
I didn't feel, when it was Joe's regeneration, I think I was very surprised we didn't get the Yaz and her kiss. I thought that's where it was going. I thought we were gonna
Twitter will be screaming.
And also we didn't say anything about the Timeless Child, the Fog Watch.
Because that's what I thought the child was at the start.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe that was a bait and switch. I don't know. But...
I don't this is the thing, right? The Timeless Child thing. It's there, it exists. Does it need to be explored? Not really. What more are we going to find out? Again, we got kind of closure with Joe Martin's Doctor a little bit. good to see Jo in that. I think we're celebrating the Chibnall era, which is essentially is obviously you've got Asha and Dewan, who steals the show by the way. I love Jodie Whittaker, but Sacha Dewan.
He was a tour de force.
And especially because Jodie is kind of strangely sidelined in the middle of the story, if you like. Because obviously it's an AI hologram, so it's not really our Doctor.
Wow.
And Dewan has to kind of become the Doctor, even though he does in the episode, he has to also take that central presence and does it very well.
He was the scene where he was like being dragged to the unit thing, and he's being like, oh, you know, about Kate Stewart being like, your dad's an idiot.
Yeah.
And then about Tegan and Ace, and it was just
again
so much.
Tegan and Ace as well, I think used really well. I'm happy that actually what we saw is what we got with the companions in this one. It was only those two. I think if you tried to bundle in so many into the main plot, it would have made it difficult, and I'm happy that those two were the main two, because I think realistically, look, there are obviously, as you guys know, this is a spoiler section, you do get Ian, you do get Katie Manning back, you do get Bonnie back, and then those cameos, if you're connected to those companions, might not be what you wanted, and you might want to just a little bit more, but I think in terms of story, using only those two as the main that come back was the right call.
Yeah, and also it's kind of showing she's not alone as well, because you kind of got the beginning with like her meeting Tegan Ace initially, and then obviously at the end that kind of group therapy session, which was like it was just like, if that was, I'm glad they concentrated on Ace and Tegan because they gave them a major story, like the stuff with the holograms transforming into the 5th and 7th Doctor for them.
And
effing God.
And the rumours were true. Ra Rasputin is played in this episode.
And let me tell you, this is going to be a Marvel reference. It does challenge that Zemo dance-off with Dewan's moves in this. If you like some kind of gifable dancing, I'm sure that Dewan gif will be all over the place. As well though, for me, I think I've got to give kudos to Mandip Gill. Again, because Jodie's out of it for her story, she becomes our central protagonist for a good 10-15 minutes, if you like.
Yeah.
And she is, again, I've used this word a lot, stupendous. She does a really good job because she sort of, how to describe it? You know when people were complaining that Clara could do too much in the TARDIS and stuff? I feel like Yaz has earned that at this point, and we finally see that coming of age, where she doesn't become the Doctor, it's never that. But she finally takes charge. She doesn't need the Doctor, and that's sort of what we get at the end of the story as well. Is she learns that she doesn't need the Doctor, and there is that love there, and we do clearly see it is subtext. I think that was the right way to go. I think if Jodie was to regenerate, but they kiss, it'd be a bit anticlimactic, and it'd be sort of like you know.
I think, like you said, because she is the longest serving companion. It's nice to throw back to all the note stuff and. It didn't feel cheated. It felt like we've been 3 series of her. She's grown, and I'd say our phones are going to be going off.
Yeah. Pretty much, I think so.
My Apple Watch is non-stop vibrating.
Like, oh my effing goodness!
I think obviously we have to give it another watch. Our brains are going at 100 miles per hour.
It's a mega jam. Well, Adam, any thoughts?
I think I'm really pleased that the Master, Cybermen and Dalek storylines almost dovetail. I don't know, I just think everything was weaved so nicely, and I'm glad it's not, I don't know, it felt really interconnected and you were really into it. It's just an adrenaline rush of all things Doctor Who.
Exactly, and I think as well, the good thing is, and obviously I'm a big fan of the Chibnall era, that there have been complaints of things that happen for no reason. Thankfully, there was no kind of cop-outs in the story. Everything that happened sort of felt like it was... The other thing I'd say is Vinder does not need to be in the story. I don't know if they had a contract with him to do another one, because he's just sort of there and doesn't do anything. And I quite like the character, but realistically, he doesn't do anything.
He shoves the Master in that cage to regenerate. He's like, hey...
But anyone could... Dan could have done that. Really,
Yeah, I think... I did for a second think they were going to because I saw a portal and I was like, oh, we're going to do the time true thing. But he didn't do any of it. Nothing.
No, before we get on to the main person, which I think is Jodie, I think we should say congratulations to Chris Chibnall, because the one they wanted him to do was to stick the landing on this one. He's hopefully... I haven't checked Twitter. I don't really want to. I'm in a good mood right now. But I'm really happy that, for me anyway, he stuck the landing. He can leave on a high. And he not only did Jodie's era, but he did the Centenary proud. Like, he celebrated, like you said 5 minutes ago, he celebrated Doctor Who, and he did that very well. Janet Fielding as well for me. I love Sophie Fielding, but Janet Fielding had a few quirky moments as well. We saw a different side of Tegan here, which was nice.
I loved it because Ace was very just obviously, even though she apparently they've fallen out with the Doctor.
That was a weird subplot.
Yeah, that was kind of in the Charles and N book as well, wasn't it? And it was kind of but also the team just didn't give a monkey's this year. She was just like.
I think it's good. I think it's good to see companions you haven't seen for a while as well. I think it's quite refreshing because I think some returning companions come back after a few years, but of course, as even though it's through the teaser, it's been so long, and there's like so much time between when they last saw the Doctor. So it's quite nice, particularly for Tegan and Hayes, to not only meet the current Doctor but their own.
Exactly, and I think as well, there's some interesting visual connotations, let's say. So Paul McGann was wearing his own costume.
Oh my effing goodness.
Now, obviously,
oh my
I'm not going to
God.
speculate properly, but also obviously we've been told that Russell wants to build spin-offs and things. Is that maybe a visual clue?
Give that man a Netflix show.
Just give me a BBC3 show.
Oh my
anything.
God.
He obviously stalks the part. So I got a kick out of seeing Sylve. David Bradley was there, cool.
Pete
Davison was there as well. Had a really nice moment with that about Adric, which again,
that was like
this is really sweet.
Because they never really did that in Time Flight. It was very like,
Adric's dead. Move on. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
That was Chibnall as a fan being like, you know what, I need to pay off.
I think it's where do we go from here? Obviously, we're all speculating who's it going to be the regeneration into. Apparently, for now, it's David Tennant. We see Shooty on the same cliff edge in the trailer.
Oh my goodness! Yes.
So, is there going to be some switching going on?
Well, you saw the cheeky smile of Neil Patrick Harris.
You did, if I'm honest, I could be wrong. Obviously, we don't know anything specifically. I think that was a 2023 Doctor Who trailer rather than a next episode trailer because there was a lot there. And obviously, we know that there is some stuff going around which you won't spoil.
No Christmas special.
But no Christmas special. But again, would it have been weird to get? I think it's good to let this one sit for a bit. On reflection, let this one sit for a bit. Like Russell has stated, let Jodie have her time. I think it's correct that a Doctor. Because I think if David came in a month, let's be honest, it is basically 2 months later. It would have not swept under the rug, but I think it would have been too quick because there'll be trailers, there'll be promotion in the coming weeks. You know,
The regeneration wasn't because obviously everybody thought it was gonna be Tennant in her clothes, but no, the clothes transform. So, like I said, I think this is another person's work. This is obviously.
It is a shame though because I would love to have seen David in that garb. Just a little bit. Part of me would have been like, just a little. It's always funny to see the new Doctor in the old Doctor's clothes. You know, like you always get a kick a little bit. You know, like Jodie being in Capaldi stuff and it not fitting.
Maybe we will see a version of that with Shooty because obviously that's this feels like a temporary thing just for obviously next year.
Yeah.
But obviously maybe it all resets at the end and goes back to that specific moment and I don't know. We don't know. But
we don't know, but.
It gave us everything. It gave us the past. It gave us the future. It was a great story.
We got everything. I think overall, we might look back on this on a second watch and be like, maybe these things don't work. But in terms of a character piece, which the regeneration story should be character pieces, my biggest complaint about Twice Upon a Time is that it's not about Capaldi that much. Is that this survived on that? It did a really good job with that story. It's why I love things like. The Time of the Doctor because that is a Matt Smith character piece and the time if you like so David but this one did a Doctor that I love proud. It did the universe proud. It did the show proud, and I can't really say that more than that really on first watch.
Mr. Moon.
Oh, I thought we were going to just do a handshake.
I've just been left, by the way. They've handshake. I've just been left over in the corner. Thank you.
That's fine. I was just saying, Adam, like. Would you like to?
Yeah.
Any spoilers we've missed?
We haven't missed.
We will add on.
I thought Kate was nearly toast for a little bit. Like, geez.
That was your prediction going in, wasn't it?
Yeah, like that was crazy.
And then when Tegan was like, "I'm staying behind,"
I thought she was toast too. Like,
you just wanted people to die, Adam.
No.
Why don't you just die?
Also, who knew Ace and Graham would be a fab duo to like take down the Daleks?
Obviously it was very sad we lost Grace in the first episode, but
yeah.
I thought Ace and Graham, I ship.
Yeah, no.
What's the fast-minute equivalent?
I'm with you. I'm with you. I think as well, obviously, you get that little 30 bit. I mean, first of all, it's Bradley Walsh. I mean, I was always a big fan, I want to say, of Graham, but I'm going to say Bradley Walsh. I think there was a character issue there, especially after Series 11. But he comes straight back in, just wins us over. Obviously, I forgot that she gave him the psychic paper.
Yeah.
So I was like, how on earth has he got that? But brilliant to see him back. Again,
Sad we didn't get Ryan. I'll admit it's sad.
Tension's got a new movie coming out, which by the way does look really fun.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, I think overall all of this was just pretty like. I can't think of anything. There were some things that I question, like Vinda being in it, but I wouldn't say that was a negative. I just kind of go, but why? Rather than, oh, that was awful. But yeah, overall, I think for me, it looked great. It was really cool. The story made sense. There was no bits where I was like, Jodie's monologuing too much, and I don't understand a word she's saying.
There was one bit. It was at the beginning when she was trying to explain the
ship, the train.
No, that special orb thing. I was like, oh no. My heart aches for Yaz, honestly.
I'm also glad
my heart is aching for Yaz.
Yeah,
I'm like that was.
I'm glad we did get that bit of Jo Martin. I think she aced that scene as the AI.
Didn't she end it as well with like "see you later"?
Yeah.
Coming to big finish.
Come by my provision. The first thing was that when I said, "Where's Graham?" and then literally Graham's around the corner.
He turns up.
Yeah. Because unfortunately, I say unfortunately, we go looking for this stuff. We knew that he was going to be in it before watching it. Obviously,
it was kind of announced, it wasn't officially announced.
That was it was on Twitter. It wasn't announced. It was on Twitter.
It was on oh no, I think one of the magazines recently.
Oh, did they?
Yes.
Which Christian will be having now.
He was like, hey.
You know.
What 10 minutes did they cut from the
They didn't.
premiere?
It must have been like that report would be in like 2-3 minutes. It must have been.
I did enjoy that line that Yaz had to Jo Martin's doctors like, weren't you like a tour guide in Gloucester? I was like, that's quite a nice, like full circle moment.
I really wish she had more out of Once Upon a Time.
Definitely.
After seeing this, I would have loved, you know, there's a lot going on, but
I was this. I think within the Doctor Who universe, anyway, whether it be on screen or whatever, I don't think this is the end for Jo Martin. And I think because her story is kind of very open-ended and still is left open-ended, you can do a spin-off and it can just sort of be its own thing. And it doesn't have to be Doctor Who because it's very clear. She's a different character. She holds a gun. It could, you know, she can be called the Doctor if she wants. You know, we can change it up a little bit. You know, and we can have a different kind of adventure. You know, whether we're having different spin-offs. If they would make the Jo Martin one a bit more action-oriented, maybe for older people, where they've been a bit more badass, I'd be for it. You know, I think she's the sort of person that can handle that role. And it would be interesting. We didn't see my boy Carvin Easter.
No.
Bring him back. Or Bell. No mention.
The unborn child. What happened to the unborn child?
Has it been back?
Was it born?
She's taking up next year. It's only been in it.
Yeah, the big 6 years.
Yeah, the doctor says, how's your family? And like, send them my love.
Quarry. We've got a Quarry in this one.
We do.
Love a Quarry.
Oh, Quarry, right. Yeah, there's so many. In my trade breakdown, I said it was multiple Earths, but I was
You
wrong.
weren't far off.
Yeah, Sasha in Jodie's attire, like different.
Sasha Dewan and that. I mean, yeah. I'm sure YouTubers will be dissecting that for any little thing they can get.
The Daleks were fairly well. I think Ashad. There was that scene where he was like taking out unit soldiers. That was like John Wick level. But again, he was just left as silent. Not like, you know.
No,
he served his purpose.
I think Ashad did alright. I think the issue I have, and it's not really the issue, it's fine, whatever, he's just Cyberman. Dewan has a little line where he goes, oh, he's forgiven me for that. It's like, oh, how convenient. Yeah, but like, that's kind of like, it's a Cyberman. And obviously it's very much put in the writing that the Master has shown the Daleks and Cybermen this bigger goal at the end of the day, rather than just their own little beefs. It's about the bigger goal.
There was a very like bitchy look they gave each other at one point.
Yeah.
They turned their heads, but it's weird because in Doctor Who magazine, like the actor who plays the Shadow was like, oh, he's out for revenge. Like there was no revenge there, but which about the Cybermasters, because they were set as a.
I like them anyway. I like the concept. I know people don't, which is fine. For me, they work. Like I think they're just cool. I don't want them around for the rest of time, and I think they will get reset after this.
It's very difficult to use them, but I think they'll use.
But I think in this they worked, and I'm happy that the Talos Children wasn't retconned. The actual episode. I'm happy that we got those Cybermasters, and I'm happy that every kind of component over the years of this era genuinely came together with a bit of added spice from the classic series, and it works. It didn't feel overstuffed. There wasn't any of, this didn't make sense, or this person pops up for 2 seconds just to then leave.
It didn't. Yeah, I didn't feel like if that was taken away, I felt like the bone structure of the story was like, you know, that was just like additional amazingness. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I think overall, I think you just can't. I can't get enough credit to Chibnall.
Another shout out. Sega Nakanola. Because the 13 theme comes back again. I think it does for the regeneration as well. So expertly used, great action moments and great for emotional scenes as well.
And I think Jodie Whittaker as well. Like you said, she doesn't get really a speech in this one. She gets a little goodbye to the TARDIS and then says, "Tag, you're it," which is kind of nice. You didn't need a grand speech because she gives a grand speech to Yaz, but it's not really grand. It's more of a nice.
Yeah, it felt like they were really setting up the shots of Legend of the Sea Devils with her on the beach. It was like that, but just space.
Yeah. I think it really worked. I think it's very Jodie to have a more calming. I think it's kind of nice because she was quite hyperactive. That actually her regeneration's quite mute, quite quiet.
Yeah, it's sad. Yeah, because obviously, when she was like obviously been shot, that was so cinematic when she was shot and rolling on the quarry. That was like, and obviously she said like she's surrounded by the extended fam, past, present companions, and then she has to go it alone. It's like
one thing I will be happy is that the use of the word fam will no longer mean Doctor Who after this episode.
Well, Tegan used it quite a lot as well.
Fam.
Wow.
But no, I think the last thing we should talk about really is just Jodie in general. There's obviously a goodbye to her as the Doctor. I think she deserves the due diligence. She's phenomenal. I'll say this throughout the entire 3-4 years. I think she's been nothing but spectacular. As the Doctor in the show, outside and inside the show, I'm going to miss her. Obviously, she's still going around and doing stuff and being in the public eye, and I can't wait. Hopefully, she's going to tap the block too, because the rumour she's not in it, and if so, I'm coming for you, John Boyega. I think she's been incredible, and she's certainly going to be a Doctor that I remember fondly. I think that she really killed it this time around, and you can tell that she loves it. And I think this is going to be something we look back on over time, maybe go, she was really good. I think that's going to be the lasting impact.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right, for Jodie, I think her Doctor represents a lot of hope and a lot of optimism, and we certainly got that. We've also got some vulnerability with her as well. I think that, I think she just pulls off every facet of the Doctor quite nicely, I think, and particularly this one, because I think she really brought all of those characteristics to the table and did give it one last great go. And she had some really nicely written lines by Chibnall, sort of very beautiful and poetic. And that last sort of shot of her, that cliff edge sequence, tag you. I think she was sort of saying how poignant and how simple they were. I think it worked, definitely.
Because I don't know, I think Jodie's been, like I said, inside and out the show. She's just been an amazing tour de force. As a Doctor, she's represented, hope. She's been the most, hopeful, outlooking Doctor we've had. I think we've obviously had 3 series with her. That first series, well, obviously that was, fair play to her for doing it through COVID. We've got so exciting elements. This era as well, Chris Chibnall. I think the historicals and the classic monsters as well. I think they've been done super well. So as I say, from all of us, and just a huge thank you to Jodie and Chris for giving us a phenomenal sort of 3 years.
Thank you, Dean.
So thank you. Directors, music.
Obviously, it all changes. I mean, all is a bit of but obviously the framework changes now. We're going into a new era, not only with RTD coming back and David, but obviously with Bad Wolf. It is all changing. So I think it is nice to, like you say thank you to the team that have got us here and those that are moving on.
I hope it doesn't, but I think obviously there's some amazing cameos tonight. But I think a lot of attention will be going on to 2023. But no, like I said, I think for the past few years we need to be
and I think overall it's been an era which, although there's been a lot of discourse, it's done a lot for a lot of people in certain aspects and whatever, and people can have different relationships to any era of the show as it is. But I think overall, hopefully, I'm going to say hopefully, it's the last thing I say, hopefully we can all come together on this one and just say there were some good bits about it. Please, internet. I'm hoping everyone can agree.
Thing is, we don't know. This is just us. We've not looked online at all.
I haven't looked online at all.
I don't really want to look online. I just want to enjoy the episode and not look on the YouTube and Twitter discourse.
And tell you what, in terms of multi-Doctor stories, it's quite packed in a way of how many Doctors technically are in it.
Yeah. Although there's only technically 1, there's also technically 6, 7.
So Jodie, Joe, David, Peter,
couldn't
Colin,
believe my
Sylv,
eyes.
Paul, David.
8.
I love how they were just like pausing in his costume. Like, why in your posh costume? He's like, because I am.
I don't do robes.
Yeah, I don't.
But yeah, just we could be here all day. And I think we need to watch it again at some point and dissect it. And
like I said, as I said, there's lots to process. We've got a lot to look forward to. Like that's exciting. That's an video in itself. And I'm sure it'll be covered on Alex's Times podcast.
yes.
But for now, great send off to Jodie. It felt like Chibnall kind of doing his version of Sixes, but without the pressure of doing it. Obviously, it's the 100th anniversary of the BBC, so it felt like it was just a great celebration.
Yeah, I think we also have to remember, like you said, that Christian was a fan. So it felt like his if you
That's
could
one fan to another fan. Thank you very much.
If you could put all the fans in, if you could put all his toys in the toy box, when you're a kid and when you're watching Doctor Who, you want to have everyone interact with each other. It felt like he was doing that. His last stand-up, it seemed like he was literally sorry about it. So you go through it. He's like, it. I'm just going to put everything I love into it. All the aspects I want to bring in, I'm going to do it. I'm going to have the Cyber, I'm going to have the Daleks, I'm going to have the Master, and it's going to work. I'm just going to do it. Yeah. And you put all his cards on the table. And yeah, you can't fault him for that. He gave it a go. Hopefully people got something out of it, but you can't fault him for having the ambition.
Was that Looms actually? That wasn't Looms, was it? Because people were saying it was Looms.
I don't think it's Looms.
I don't think it was, because I think that's something new he created for like the post.
Looms?
The Looms, it was meant to be as like how they, I don't know, some type of rubbish.
Gallifreyan chamber thing.
I think it was his own thing that he done for this.
Fair.
Any crazy thoughts? If you want to
discuss like you say, I'm obviously going to watch it again.
Yeah.
There'll be a longer form version of this. Probably on a podcast.
I will link. Link a description below for our full process discussion. In a few days' time, I guess we're on the Times podcast.
on my show. Please subscribe.
Yeah. Yes, we've got the Timeless Podcast YouTube channel. How's that going? Big Cam Batman.
Hi.
George Whovian.
Yes.
YouTube Twitter down below, and yes, you can follow me, etc. etc. But for now, I think I need to take a breather.
I need to get another drink.
Plenty more.
Yeah.
Oh God. What did we watch?
Yeah.
What did we watch?
I don't know what we do for me.
I just screamed. Yeah, so anyway.
And I just cried.
Cried, screamed, laughed. Yeah.
Yeah, everything. Until next time, though, guys. Bye-bye.
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 Love you.